Hello, lads and ladies. My name is GERVtuber, and welcome to my new stream video. When you're watching this, I finally finished my preparations. I have something to eat here, which is already halfway completely gone because, well, and we are back at gameboystudio. I have a handful of ideas, and I don't know if I'm actually going able to be able to accomplish these things, if you know what I mean. But regardless, what I think is fun, the best that I can do at the moment is try to play around a little bit with how the game works, with how everything interacts with each other. And once I have that at ready,
Guten Tag Drapo.
hello, Exosetups, and once I have that ready, I can finally think of how to implement my actual game idea for Game Boy. Because I finally thought of a fun idea that you could do for a Game Boy game, and I think it's so fun and it's so relevant, and it's the trend is probably already going to die down when I'm actually able to do the thing that I want to do, but that is completely besides anything else, you know? Also, hello, Exoceratops. I hope you're having a good time. I'm having a good time by having a good pizza. Nice. I like my pizza. Pizza, as they say in Japan. Or pizza, as they say in Germany.
I'm having a good time. I got Pepsi.
Hardcore. Awesome. I'm gonna drink some nutritious water before we start. Also, extra. Wanna know what idea I had? Wanna know? Because I don't know if it's actually gonna be fun or not. I mean, I know it's gonna be fun. Of course it's gonna be fun. The fun is I want a second opinion, another opinion on that idea.
I wanna know, is it a Metroidvania?
A little bit, not really. My idea for the game that I wanna do, I would call it something along the lines of speedrunners. And it's based, and I got the idea from the Scientology speedruns. So, and the premise would be that it's basically a Game Boy version of Vector, but instead of you running over buildings most of the time, you're running into a building, and your plan is to map out the building. So, how they do in Scientology speedruns. But the most important part of this is that there are gonna be a handful of types of rooms, some rarer, some less rare, and it's gonna be rogue-like to a certain degree. Like to go inside, and you have to map out the room. And every time you walk, and once an area is mapped out, that area gets saved basically. And you can continue mapping out that area until you completely mapped out the area. And while that, because it's based on Vector, there are a handful of people who are chasing you and who are trying to catch you. And the more you mapped out of the area, the more you can unlock to continue mapping out the area. I love it. So at some point, and I know I would do like free buildings, that there are free buildings that you can map out in total, and it's gonna be easier the more stuff you have. Like at some point you can, one of your stuff is literally just pocket flour, like pocket sand, but like that's gonna be like the description, pocket flour, like pocket sand but finer. And you just throw that flour someone in the face to get to stun them and ran past them and stuff. And basically, your thing is that you run through the areas, and each first playthrough of a building is gonna be relatively unique, and every area you mapped out is gonna give you a speed boost or something because you already mapped this area out. And when you are at the next area to map out, you get more stuff again, and then you can save the building the way it is. I don't know. It's something between Blueprints, Vector, and something else. I don't know. There's another game in it that I don't really know. But do you know Vector? Have you ever played Vector? Do you even know what I mean with that? That's the most important part. Because if not, then I have to show you. Because it is one of my favorite games for the smartphone. Or it was one of my favorite games in the smartphone gaming era. When smartphone games were more than the fucking
I
piece
think
of
I
shit
played
games.
it now that I look at the images online.
Yeah, you basically just play as this silhouette of a parkour runner, and then you go from level to level. And so certain areas would then give you like you don't get anything from the areas. Like that's one of the things. A thing that I also really didn't like about Vector, and it's really just a pet peeve because I know it's supposed to be cool, but it really annoyed me. Vector had such an incredibly had such an incredibly interesting story for some reason, which I don't really understand why. Again, I recently had to come to the terms that many people can't even see a fucking story when it's literally screaming into their face, yo, there is a story here. But Vector had a story where you basically were a prisoner of this corporate office life, but in a really dystopian way. And they were constantly playing like messages, some subliminal, some don't, some not. Literally telling you like there's no reason to protest or something, and one guy just completely flips out and starts running. And because he tries to run, people are chasing after him. And the story basically is that once you run away, once you manage to get out of the city, a rebellion group picks you up and figures out, oh yeah, we can make him work for us. And then you do parkour runs through areas, through urban areas, basically to get some to. Well, in the game is just to go from point A to point B, but you probably do something. I don't know. I know. But the point basically is that you became part of this rebellion, and you're helping that rebellion to take down the bigger corporations. And in this case, it would be a similar gameplay to Vector, but you wouldn't have these unlockable abilities unless you actually got them, because in Vector, it really weirdly annoyed me that you could get these abilities, but the main character is a complete he's a noob in parkour. Like he does basic parkour running stuff. And you can get like really highly advanced abilities, which is cool. Again, it's really cool. But I really hated it that you could just get them. Is that dumb? Like, you could just get these abilities, and they were very, very specific to very, very specific places. And I'm in the back of my brain, it was just like, How does he know that? Like, how does he know he can do that? Where does this skill come from? Because many of these skills take a lot of training and a lot of practice, but he can just do them. And this is a really dumb pet peeve of mine, but that's just a bit that yeah. I'm complaining too much about a game that I basically spent my entire smartphone related teenage years with. Vector game. Yeah.
Maybe Vector is a prodigy and he just can lean it out of the blue. Learn.
I mean, why not? When you are doing something creative, and parkour is to a certain degree creative, I think parkour is one of the most creative, athletic things you can do. You know? Because parkour is not just about, yeah, you get from point A to point B. Parkour is also about finding your own way to go from point A to point B, which is also a part that really annoyed me, that weirdly annoyed me about it, because you have these very, very set paths, and some of them were very, 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 very strict. Some weren't, and that's the moment when the game was the most fun. Like, there were moments where you could either decide you go low, just for the sake of going low and doing different tricks, or you go high, just for the sake of skipping a larger portion and doing other tricks. Like, I love that part. So yeah, I'm weird. I know. But yeah, but in this version, like, we're not even close to that yet. Of course, because what I want to do for now is still try to play around here, what I can add, what I can influence, what I can do, is roughly get a feel of how this thing works. But once I am at the place where I'm confident enough to work on this game, it will be literally just you going from point A to point B, and the only thing you can are basic parkour skills. Literally just, you can jump over a thing, and that's it. Like, you start off with running, jumping, and dodging. Like, you can dodge people, but there is a chance that they still can catch you. Like, this would be a quick time event, basically. You go to the point and you have to press the right button. And then the more you go on, the more tricks you learn, because there is a reason why you go back in there and why you have to do that again. Get it? That's why you can suddenly learn tricks. But these tricks, you can do these tricks basically. But I don't know how I'm gonna implement them. I don't know. So you can basically get your gear, like knee pads. If you don't know, the Scientology speed runs got to a point where people were actually giving each other tips on how to do these speed runs more successfully, and one of them were knee pads. So that would basically be your first thing to get. Then you can get these knee pads. You can just press the down button and you can slide under tables and guards, because that is what Faye said the knee pads would be useful with. I'm such a troll. Anyways, let's continue on with what we do. Last time, what we did, we edited this room very, very heavily, just so that you have a feeling of how that looked like. Oh wait, I have a fun idea. I have a very fun idea. I'm gonna add a specific. Yes. Get up there. Yep, that is it. Good. Properties, and now I'm starting this one. Capture specific window. I don't know if you've been there when we edited this room. Cause I just want to edit some stuff in the game, to in the demo game, to get a little bit of a feel of how to do certain things. Here, for example, those are all regions that you can click on, basically, and all of them say a little bit of different, a few little different things. So now I just need the game to start out.
I wasn't here, but I will catch up quickly.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, I thought this was this card. So, wait, okay. Then just I'm so confused. Huh? No, okay, get rid of that one. Yes, wanna remove Genshin Impact? Yeah, of course I wanna remove Genshin Impact. I haven't played that game in ages. Again, only for the photo mode. I should probably start playing Genshin Impact again. Good. Last stream Skittles was also here. You know, the dude who made the dude, the friend who made Children of Magia, or he's going to make Children of Magia, and he's currently making Children of Magia, and who made Repugnant Bounty, the game that I like a little bit too much. So continue. Here, for example, I added here a little interactive thing. Feed the elephant. Then I can say either yeah, of course, or nah, I shouldn't. And if I say yeah, of course, this happens. How could you? And when I'm here, feed the elephant, and I say nah, I shouldn't, it's gonna say wise choice.
Pet elephant.
Yeah, but the reason why I said this is because it's this. Welcome to gameboystudio. Do not feed the elephant. And here's the house of player. Yeah. That's the boss music from... that's the last boss music from Repugnant Bounty. Skittles sent this to me just so that I can put it in here. And here, I made basically the entire wall here and everything clickable just to see if I can actually do it. And one of these things is my favorite wall. My favorite wall with a heart. My favorite wall with the exclamation mark. More of my favorite wall. Just the ceiling. And for some reason it doesn't show it here, but here should also be an interactive window that says my second favorite wall. But apparently there is the thing, the interactive, like for example the interactive window with the Such a My Day Out technically ends here. like at the window edge. And here it should say my second favorite wall. But it doesn't do that, which is a little bit annoying. Yeah. That was pretty much all the changes that we made so far. So yeah, here, if I click in on here, you have the interactive tree, like feed the elephant. When if true, it's yeah, of course, set to false if nah, I shouldn't. And if I say yeah, if true, it says yeah, how could you? But if I say false, which is in this case nah, I shouldn't, it's wise choice. And I could add another. And I could add another thing that I could do. I think I'm gonna do here something. Meow. Yeah, meow. Meow. Add event. Variable. Scene cat. Wait, how do I do this again? I have to keep in mind how that worked. So this is display choice. Okay. And then if local 0 and else. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna here display dialog in menus, display multiple choice. I am meow. Pet for cat. Oh, wait. I have a better idea. Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna delete that event when I'm adding an event, and that event is gonna be display dialog. Cat. The cat wants to be pet. Then add event. Display multiple choice. Multiple choice. Choice A. Pet for cat. Choice 2. How do I phrase it? I don't want to just say don't pet the cat. That is too boring. Don't pet the pet. Go away. Then, if variable true, display dialog. Cat wants more pets. Or is it pet with an E or with an A? I mean, you wrote with an E, but is this? Yeah, it is, right? And yeah, so far this is true. This is just else, right? Yeah, this is else, but else is false. Else. If false. If variable is false. Add event, display dialog. She ignored you as well. What, this isn't true? I didn't want this to be true. I want this to be false. Huh? Disable else. Delete event. Delete event. Good. Else. False. Good. Else false. Dialog. Display dialog. She ignored you back. Yes. Okay, then I'm gonna do a menu dialog. Display dialog. Display choice. Bit more. Why? Pet more. I'm done petting. More. I'm done petting. And here is another if true. If true. Display dialog. Cat starts purring. Ah, good. Else. Display dialog. She looks disappointed.
Shouldn't pet be spelled with an alike in head padding?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, pet. Then I'm gonna change this all to an A. Pet for cat. Pet more. I'm done petting. The cat starts purring. She she looks disappointed. Good. Then I'm gonna add here another event with another choice because I don't know. Display multiple choice. More pets. That's enough. But I'm adding here another event. That is, if true. If true. Then I'm gonna go with display dialogue. If true. She rolls on her back. We all know what that. If you know cats, you know what's gonna come next. And else. Why did. No. Display dialogue. Why did you. Why you stop? Why did you stop? Okay, and if you know how cats work, you're gonna know what's gonna happen next. And yeah, I'm still eating my pizza, of course. Gonna display dialogue. Choice. Pet for belly.
What pizza did you get?
It seems like salami pizza. My roommate got it. We currently have slight problems on the money department, so I was not expecting to get pizza. And he just showed up and said, "Yeah, because he basically knows everybody around here. We moved to a place where he grew up in, so he basically knows everybody here." He said he made a deal with a guy to pay him the pizza in a week's time. So I didn't know which one it was, but it is salami, definitely. But what I mean, I didn't have a choice. But it would have gone with salami anyways because it's a good one.
That sick-based roommate.
Yeah. He sometimes is a boost. If false. I think she's good. I think she's good. Sorry. I think she's good. So now I'm gonna make one last true. I'm gonna make one last true. And if you know cats, you've seen that coming. Just play dialogue. He scratched you. Why would you pet her belly? Don't touch her belly. Okay, and then the else. Let's play dialogue. She seems satisfied. Satisfied. Yay. So now we have to play the game long enough to get to that cat. And see that dialogue option played out. Alright, does that make sense? Hell yeah, it does. Also, I made a little bit of hot honey today. Just a sporadic version of it. Just crushed some bird eye peppers, some small ones. Mix it with a little bit of honey and put it on a toast. With Leona. So we know basically everything that's gonna be here. Help, please, my garden. Nice. My garden has been overridden by turnips. Thank you so much. I'm not planting those next year. Nice. Okay, now we get to the petting part. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. Wait, go away. She ignored your bag. Good. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. The cat wants more pets. I'm done petting. She looks disappointed. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. The cat wants more pets. Pet more. The cat starts purring. That's enough. Why did you stop? Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. The cat wants more pets. Pet more. The cat starts purring. More pets. She rolls on her bag. I think she's good. She seems satisfied. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. The cat wants more pets. Pet more. The cat starts purring. More pets. She rolls on her back. Pet the belly. She scratched you. Don't touch the belly. Oh, that was too cool. Such a simple thing. But here are a few things that I'm gonna have slight problems with. First of all, the Game Boy has 60 FPS, so we can make smooth animation. The thing is, I don't know if I would make the character a little bit bigger. Just so that I can cram a little bit more detail for things in there. Because in the end, the game that I want to make basically would just need a 2.5 person high background. So I could add a little bit more detail in the character and the surrounding area. And I wouldn't even need that much detail, because technically that would be enough for a table. The table would just be like a little bit higher than you, but you could slide down when you just get past him. Save game. Oh, game project has been saved. It's now safe to turn off your system. Nice. And the reason I called it tennis, because I first thought I make something like tennis. But I don't want to make such a simple game with the gameboystudio. I want to have a game. I want to make a game that, even if it's simple, could theoretically still be found on a Game Boy, or for a Game Boy, like actually. And I've seen a lot of simple games for Game Boy, for example. As a dumb example, Tetris. Very easy game, very simple game with a very simple concept, and it would work. And in this case, the concept is just that you have to run through a building, and you have to go from point A to point B, like relatively fast, of course. But the complexity would be from the roguelike element. Nice. But that's the parallax. Wait. If that is the parallax example, then I need to look at it again. Because do you know what parallax is? Do you know what parallax is in this case? I think it's in this case parallax scrolling, which means that the background... Yeah! Dynamic background. Not really dynamic, but you get... Yeah, but you see it, right?
No clue.
Here, this part... Like, this is a thing that... that many people say is incredibly hard to implement on 2D in 2D game engines, and that is parallax scrolling. That is that you have like a 3D effect due to the background moving in separate speeds. Like, it would be even cooler if these clouds had their own... speed in which they would go by, somewhere between these hills and that mountain. But you see but you see it, right? I mean, of course, it's very obvious, but I think it's very, very cool. Like, this is how the background usually behaves in many 2D games. And that is that Then it moves alongside the rest of the background, of the foreground, basically. So how would I do that? Parallax example. Oh, cool. This is literally the setting I was looking for. That's because here, that way I can. That's a setting of how fast I am, apparently. Which means I could change. I could actively change my speed, of course. Which, yeah, I kind of guessed that. And also, I'm gonna go somewhere real quick. I'm really sorry that I have to do this. And see you soon. Back soon. Man, I know that you can hear me, but it's always a little bit weird to know that you can, for some reason, hear me in the screen, because I'm not used to the screen being sentient. Also, I found out something really funny today about chickens. I mean, we all love chickens. Some to eat, some to have as a pet. Me both. I know. I shouldn't choose favorites.
Welcome back.
But I found something interesting out about chickens. Apparently, chickens pass or are able to pass the mirror test. And do you know what that means? Because that is a fun one.
That they are smart.
Not just that. If an animal if something passes the mirror test, it means that they are smart enough to have a sense of self. They are literally self-conscious. That is something many dogs aren't. Like, many dogs aren't smart enough to pass the mirror test. I'm not saying all dogs, I said many dogs are not smart enough to pass the mirror test. Because if we break it down, it becomes more understandable. Because to pass the mirror test, you have to know the individual that you're looking at is not you. If it's you, like, that's the thing. Your individual that you're looking at is you. That's the thing that you have to understand when you pass the mirror test. And it's many animals don't understand that the individual in the mirror is them. Many animals see the mirror and see another chicken, for example. And if you just see a different animal, basically a different one of your kind, you react to certain situations differently when you know that this is you. They tested it by having a chicken that is very, very conscious of its predators. It's a cock, basically, if you want to say it like that. And when it saw other chickens and it saw that predator, it was streaming, like it did the usual thing that chickens do, and to warn others. That's why it does that. But with the mirror, it saw that sign and it did nothing. And that is in this case very important, because when the chicken didn't see another chicken, it also did nothing. Simply because if you see a predator and you are alone, the dumbest thing you can do is make noise. The dumbest thing you can do is make noise. That's something that even chicken know. And the smartest thing you can do when you are in a group is make noise, because then everybody gets alert, everybody knows this, and everybody then sees, oh yeah, fuck, there is a predator out there, we have to run. But when the chicken didn't see another chicken but its mirror image, it stayed silent. It was smart enough to understand that this thing in the mirror is not me, and smart enough to understand, because it's not me, this thing in the mirror is me, like it's an image of me, and because this is an image of me, I'm staying silent, because if I make something, I'm dead. Like, again, this is something many in quotation marks smarter animals are incapable of. And that's what makes this so interesting. I mean, for example, you see very often certain cats and certain dogs looking in the mirror and starting to act like they see a rival. And that also wasn't the case. Like, it just saw a different chicken from its perspective at first, but it understood that this was itself. While many dogs who see a mirror image start barking. because they think it's a dog they never saw before. To be fair, not all dogs. But still, that an untrained chicken knew that is incredibly impressive. And that kind of implies that the standard chicken is smarter than like 50% of dogs, which is also incredibly strange. So, but here my point is on init. What if a player has fade screen, automatic player track, type platformer. Oh yeah, here I pattern click, shoot 'em up, top down. This is top down 2D. This is platformer, top down 2D, shoot 'em up, and this is point and click. Yo. And adventure. This room is adventure. This is point and click. Platformer. Scripts. Scenes, constant variables, health. Turn up counter, use radio, quest. Pushed ice block, health constants, engine constant, adventure dash, knockback. Dash and content hasn't been used in prog. Dash initiative. Dash state. Ground end. Knockback end. Huh. Hasn't been used in project? What do you mean? Scripts. Common. Platformer. On blank. On knockback. Okay, I don't think. Actors Health UI. Okay, that is both of the hardest up there. Health UI. Okay, false doesn't have. It's not happening anything. Triggers. UI logo. Okay. Scenes. Path. Path example, path to sample, pound, parallax example. Okay. Signpost, elephant, trigger. What is trigger? Okay. Fade speed. Cave. Underground, deeper underground. Underground, deeper underground, deep space. And there's cave. Cave, that's cave. This is such a Link the Legend of Zelda reference. Dream? Huh. Player's house. Yeah, I added so many unnecessary triggers. Good space, deep space, battle space, town. Okay. Previous monochrome. I don't really like monochrome. I mean, it's a fun aesthetic, but that's it. Okay, I wanna know how I can add a dash to the character. Player platform. Move right. Jump right. Idle right. Okay. Player ship. Okay. Palette, no. I want to know where I can see the options. Variable 1 to 1 million. Come on. I also saw a Jackson Field video today where he made fun of bike talk. And on one end, I'm just like, yeah, okay. That stuff is weird as hell. But also, I was just like, yeah, okay. I have also been recommended some bike talk videos, but they weren't like this. It was usually just some people try talking about how it's important to be chill and whatnot, and normal wholesome stuff. But apparently, bike talk scene is full of very strange individuals who basically fetishize the biker aesthetic. And then there are people like literal like people in the comment section who are quite literally not that old, to say it nicely. And it really looks like they're trying very, very hard to grift them. And that is a no-go. That is very, very disgusting. Like, again, I didn't know these people existed. I have only seen like 20 bike talk videos, and all of them were by were from relatively harmless people, and most of them were women anyways. But apparently, bike talk turned into something like how do you say that? Bait for young teenage you know who, and that is very uncomfortable. Why do these people exist? Why can't they just be, you know, murdered? So, like, accidentally murdered. Definitely not some purpose or something. As if I would condone murder to anybody at all. Never. I'm definitely not saying kill all pedophiles or kill all rich people. Ah, fuck, I just said pedophile twice. But it's just weird. How the fuck do these people exist? And how can this still be like an openly known thing? I had a weird monologue about this today too, where I was like thinking about making a video about one of the most personally intense horror games I've played. Like, there is a reason why I say personally intense horror games. Why does none of that do anything? And just like with every normal conversation that I have, even in monologues, I start to drift off at some point. And I start to drift off into topic of Reddit, because the reason I liked Reddit for such a long time is because Reddit seemed like a bunch of cynical, edgy weirdos who just make really dumb jokes. And that's what it mostly was for me, and that's what I usually did. That's why I have it in my Reddit profile written troll, god/troll or something, because I like to shit talk a lot. And at some point I made a dumb joke about, I don't know, having children in my basement and stuff. You know, jokes that you would expect would not be taken seriously because it's supposed to be just a dumb, edgy joke. No, like, before the shit with the Epstein files came out, I would not have at all expected, okay, a little bit earlier before the thing with the Epstein files, when this topic became a lot more prevalent, but I would not have expected that people would take this seriously. Because from my perspective, it would just be, you have to be a really, really big asshole to, first of all, actually do that. In my opinion, you really, really just need to get murdered if you are one of these people. And I'm not taking any godforsaken senses in this case. If you, even at all, are belonging to these groups of people from the Epstein list, from my perspective, I would do shit to you the Geneva Convention doesn't even have words for. This is how disgusting I think that is. But yeah, making edgy jokes is something that I also always did. And the reason why I suddenly showed up with, suddenly came to this thing with Reddit is because one of the things that really pisses me off about the situation that I got banned from one of the subreddits because of that joke. Again, I understand. Now I definitely understand why people reacted that way. But one of the reasons why it still pisses me off was their reasoning. Because their reasoning didn't make any sense at all from our perspective. I think I already mentioned that a thing I am in, or one of the subreddits I'm in, is the Furry IRL subreddit, purely for the lulz. And the reason why I'm in there for the lulz, because I already have 2 friends who are pretty open furry, and I get along with those. And due to them, and due to some YouTubers who were going through the Furry IRL subreddit, and they basically just were comics that they usually were showing. So, yeah, I thought it was funny, and most of them are funny, and the comics are usually relatable, weirdly enough. Not the ones that are specifically about furry stuff, but most of them are literally just about the awkwardness of life, like every fucking short comic. But because I am in this subreddit, that was their reasoning. That I must have meant it. Miss Chloe, hello! How are you doing? Why did your message not...
Been good.
Oh, yeah, I had my headset on silent. But yeah. And yeah, yeah. That's why I didn't read what you said, Extraceratops. Sorry.
Why did what?
Why didn't I hear you? That was what I wanted. But the point is, again, now I understand why people are sometimes so incredibly touchy about jokes like these, because there are actually people like this. And again, if I would ever meet one of...
what I thought.
And again, if I actually would meet one of these individuals, Faye wished Faye were dead afterwards. But that the reasoning literally was, yeah, he is on that subreddit that has nothing to do with that at all, so he has to be one of these people. I'm just like, why? Have you even met these people? Apparently not.
Best viewers sharp CORU.
No, fuck you, electronic, whatever. And yeah, again, Extraceratops, I don't know what the Wetfire Smart specifically is based on, because I was so in my monologue again. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's just the same thing. I hate superficial people who just make assumptions on basis that just don't make any fucking sense. Like, again, the main reason why I'm on this furry subreddit is because I have friends in that scene, and so far from all I've seen on that subreddit, they seem like a really chill bunch that just have a character preference. Let's just be honest. Just like I like tomboys with giant hammers. That's also a character preference. I mean, forget what I said. I'm talking too much shit, I know. But the point, I don't know if that joke wasn't a little bit too far. I think it was obvious that it was a joke. I don't have to explain myself. I'm so sorry. I'm rambling so much. I want to learn this game engine, and I'm too dumb to focus. But yeah, again, the only thing I know about the only cliche that I know about the furries fandom to be true is that 90% of them are gay, and that makes it even funnier for me because that people believe in that weird rumor. Because guess what? One of the things that literally every homosexual person had to live with in the ye olden days is that they were all considered to be pedophiles. All of them. I'm not kidding. There were entire advertisement campaign talking about how every gay person is a pedophile, and that's why you have to protect your children from gay people. I just hate people who are overly biased. Okay, I'm weird. Is it weird that I hate people, hate biased individuals? Is that weird? I think it's not. I think Extraceratops is now gone. I think I babbled him a little bit too much about nothing. I'm still looking for the option for the movement options in this area, in these areas. How do I edit those? Because what I want to add is a dash. Because Miss Glow, I finally had an idea for a game that I want to make in gameboystudio. And I think it's gonna be really, really fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh?
Tell me about it.
About biases? Or about the game idea? I'm still very, very caught up in my own brain, so I don't know what part you're referring to. Logo, title screen, menu. No. Here's scene, path, parallax example. I'm just going with the idea that you meant the game idea. Have you heard of the Scientology speedruns? On blank, update health. Initiate weapons. Cooldown. Attach bullets to a button for shooter scenes. Huh.
Have I heard of what?
The Scientology speedruns. Have you heard of those? I mean, I would love to say probably, but I don't know if that's the truth. So, engine constant, huh?
Scientology.
Yeah, Scientology.
I haven't.
Well, there is a weird trend on TikTok apparently. I haven't seen any TikTok video about it. I off it. I haven't seen any TikTok video of it, but I have seen a lot of TikTok videos about it. And this is that people basically go into Scientology buildings and try to get as fast as they can.
Wow.
And they use that knowledge and they use the footage that they took by running in.
A TikTok videos. That why I haven't TikTok is cringe.
To map out the Scientology buildings. And that is a really cool thing.
And I keep my distance from it XD.
Yeah, that is a good idea. TikTok, it keeps getting worse. I'm only on it because I still kind of want to upload videos on it. But do you know what Scientology is? Scientology is one of the most corrupt and evil sects, cults in the world. They were known to be incredibly ruthless and obscure. Like it was one of those super capitalistic. It still is. It was one of these super hyper capitalistic cults where if you have more money, you can get more influence, and the more influence you have, the more you also discover about their own religion, because most people in that cult don't even know what their own religion is about, which is one of the weirdest parts. And yeah, this shitty cult that only stopped being taken seriously after a South Park episode about them. After South Park made an episode about the Scientology cult, and in that literally also said what Scientology was about, like what the religion was about. And many people who are part of Scientology but not part of the higher ranks heard for the very first time what their own religion was about. Which is why I highly support that thing with these Scientology speedruns. Because people are running in and trying to uncover as much as possible about the building. And the idea is and the idea of a game would be something in between Vector and Blueprints, but like as a semi-permanent roguelike. You would basically run into a building, and Vector style, you would jump over tables, and you would try to dodge guards and try to escape guards, etc., etc. And the further you get in, like it's gonna be random.
It sounds interesting, yet.
And it's gonna be that you go into that building, and for every player, the map will be different because it's gonna be randomized. That's what makes it a little bit. That's what it makes it a roguelike. And then you can, and every player, and I'm sorry, I'm currently, for some reason I have a problem thinking, which is really annoying. Basically, you would go in, and because it would be randomized, every first playthrough will be different because you run inside and you uncover new rooms and you uncover new areas, and once you get caught, you draw a map of the building, like obviously not from memory, but you're gonna have a map of the building, man, basically. And when you go back inside, you're gonna have and if you go back inside, Oh, I really should stop streaming for today. I'm having headaches. I shouldn't stop streaming. I'm just being too caught up in my brain. And every time you get thrown out, you can get upgrades for, I don't know, the more you uncovered, the more you can upgrade basically. And with an upgrade, you can try to get further into the building and unlock more. But as soon as you drew that map, the building is fixed. And then that area that you mapped out is gonna be fixed, and you can use the map and the knowledge that you have of the map and the new items that you unlock to get further into the building and to map out more. And when you mapped out the entire building, you can go to a bigger building or to a new building. And the idea basically would just be that that it would be like Vector, but obviously in gameboystudio, that it would be like Vector, and that the fun would be that every time you play the game or you start a new playthrough, that you can continue on a playthrough, like saving it obviously, or you can start a new playthrough and then you have a completely new building, because every time the building will be a little bit different, and every time certain rooms will be on a different place and on a different area and whatnot, and then you can discover new things on a new place. It's mostly gonna be just for the lulz, just for basically making these maps by running through them. But I really like the idea of having a vector style game where the entire concept is that you're just having to map out this area, and that discovering that area is basically the reward in itself. But every time you finish a run through, like, you get caught and you have to get thrown out, and then you have to go into the building at some point again because you want to uncover more of the area. But then you get upgrades, like for example knee pads, because the people are genuinely giving each other tips on how to get.
I'm liking it too.
On how to get further into the building. People are genuinely giving each other.
And the concept is unique as well.
Yeah. Well, technically, it's something in between Vector, Blueprints, and Dead Cells. Dead Cells was the game that I meant. Because Dead Cells, it's also pretty much a different area, but when you run in, but it always changes. But the fact with the mapping is, as soon as you mapped out the area, that area is fixed. And then you can get, and then that area might be fixed, but everything that comes after is still randomized, as long as you mapped out the entire building. And I think it's gonna be rather simple, like more simple to make than this one. And what I need to know for this is how I change the interactive buttons, like how I change the button layout for the character. Because then I would have made a dash button, like I would have made like, yeah, press B to dash, and then you dash forward, you know, like in Pokemon, and then you can dash forward. And then I would have made like a jump button, obviously, that you can jump up, and there is already a jump button. But that's the point. Whoa, why do I have such trouble breathing at the moment? That is really not comfortable. But again, I want to get a little bit more into the thing as well. I need to see if I can find free assets for gameboystudio. That would be a good start. Free GB Studio assets. Top 3 game asset tags tagged by Game Studio. gameboystudio sprites. Gen 2 Pokemon trainer sprites. Oh, that is cool. There's so much stuff here. Ah, you can't see it because I don't have, I specifically moved the window to the side so that you can watch with me, but I forgot that I didn't turn on that possibility. Compact event, top-down 2D RPG. But I also would need a taller sprite. Homework Havoc. Pixel Jam. That actually looks like a cool base to work with. Portal gun system for gameboystudio. Because then I could, once I found some good assets to work with, before I made my own, of course. Before I make my own assets, I need some assets to work with in terms of getting started with the basics of programming it. Game of Style sprites. That actually looked like something that I could use. But cool that there are so many assets that I can just use and I can download. That will be very, very cool. Some 8-bit songs. Oh, that's the end of the list. Okay. I think I have something that I could use here. Oh, I already have a fun idea. Like the game, but like then the game would basically start with you having the plan of mapping out that area, and then like get your first item, or get your first upgrade, and then just like a bandana basically, just so that you're not immediately discovered. For anonymity's sake, as people say. First thing will be just a bandana, and that way it already introduces the buying upgrades mechanic. And then you run through it, and because you have no idea how it actually works, you manage to perhaps dodge one or two people. And when you get caught, you get like a 10% 10% of the map allows you to buy the next upgrade, and the upgrades would get exponentially more expensive, obviously, until you get like rollerblades or something, because it's even faster. But I really would need to know how to make this character move. That's the main reason why I haven't really started trying to build up that stuff again. I wanna know how to make my character interact with stuff. Oh yeah, I have to show you something that I made in the game yet, in this thing. I don't know if I showed you this. I don't know if you've seen it. New game. So first thing I did was this. Now this is actually the second thing I did. Feed the elephant. Nah, I shouldn't. Wise choice. The reason why is when you interact here, it says welcome to GERVtuber. Do not feed the elephant. But here it says feed the elephant. Yeah, of course. How could you? Oh, the parallax scrolling is completely fucked up. I don't know what I did there. I don't know if you've seen that thing. Skittle sent me that sound yesterday. That's the last boss sound. That's the last boss sound from his game Republican Bounty that I'm a huge fan of. Here's my favorite wall. My favorite wall without a heart. My favorite night poster. Come on, my favorite wall. My favorite wall. With 3 exclamation marks. And yeah. Yeah, we're gonna help that guy again. Good. We're just gonna talk to that dude. Thank you so much. I'm not planting those next to you. Good. The thing that I actually am pretty proud of. It's still just a dialogue option. But it's not about that. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. And here, go away. She ignored you back. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. Cat wants more pets. I'm done petting. She looks disappointed. Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. Cat wants more pet. Pet more. The cat starts purring. And that's enough. Why did you stop? Meow. The cat wants to be pet. Pet the cat. Cat wants more pets. Pet more. The cat starts purring. More pets. She rolls on her bag. And here, if I go with pet the belly, she scratched you. Don't touch the belly. Meow. Pets. 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 Pet the belly, and here she seems satisfied. Like, I know how to do these dialogue options now, and all that stuff. But I don't know how to actually do the interacting thing, you know? Like, I can make here an interactive field, okay? But I can't make a move character faster or move character slower thing. And that sucks a little bit. Or does that have to be like a game thing? Like, does that have to be, is that supposed to be a level thing? Like, I'm, for example, have to do here a strip that is like the running track. Hey. Hello, multiverse. How are you doing? You doing all right? So, what can we add? Like, do I need to do it that way? Do I need to make a interactive strip, basically? That then
Doing
says
great.
Running here. Basically
What
saying,
about you?
Well, I'm currently struggling with adding a sprint option. Because I have an idea for a game that I really wanna make, but for that I first need samples to actually work with, and I already know where to get those. But I also need the knowledge of how to add a sprint function. And once I added that sprint function, I think I'm ready to start making that game idea of mine. How do I add a sprint farm? Is that really a level specific thing? Do I really have to create a racetrack basically? Do I? Do I have to do this? That would suck a little. Huh. Don't you have a movement thing? Bevan House, thank you. If seeing cat condition. Ah, okay. And here, if I talk to him first, say meow, then seeing cat variable true. Okay. And then my dialogue options start to play with, you want to pet the cat, and if you pet the cat wants more pets, and if you pet the cat more, the cat starts purring, and if you pet the cat more, she rolls on her back, and if you pet the pet more, she scratches you. Or obviously, if you say you don't want to pet first by the first thing, she ignores you. If you stop petting her, the second thing, she is disappointed. The other one, she asks, why the hell did you stop? And if you stop with the last one, then she seems satisfied. Huh. So what do I need to do? Because it's not like it wouldn't make sense if I have to make a specific area where I can press the button. And that would also mean that I have more freedom about certain things, how I do certain things. Oh, the script is already building in my head. I don't know if that's a good thing, because then I'm gonna get into it with too much bias. And I hate going into things with bias. Just had an entire monologue about it when no one reacted to. I mean, here we interact with you. Playing. Wait, the radio here. The radio said that there's something on. or. Wait, does it have to be a very specific example? Do I have to ask Skittles to get me to send me the Lotcheru theme? Because if I can edit this, then I have a very specific thing that I want it to play. And I'm gonna show you now. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know this. If you know this track, but it's one of my favorite ones from one of my favorite Game Boy indie games. Do you hear that? Yeah, you hear that. It gets better. So much better. Anyways, play Repugnant Bounty if you want to listen to the rest. Little shameless plug for one of my favorite games. But I love this song. And this is the song that I would put in that radio here if I could. But it doesn't have to be a very specific kind of version, or can I just download the YouTube variant? Can I? I actually don't know. That makes this so incredibly frustrating. Oh, wait. I have to test something out. Like here, place, trigger? If I'm placing another trigger over here, like if I place another trigger over here, and this time, nah. I mean, is that really how that works? Like, do I really just have to make... What is actor? Nah, okay, that is not what I need. So trigger is basically pressing... What's the difference between trigger and an actor in this case? That is important. Because technically I'm always pressing A with that one. I don't really quite know because I'm using my keyboard, but I think the A button is the Z button. Because if I'm pressing B, theoretically nothing should happen. So if I make... Let's just make here, not actor, trigger. Make here something. Add event. Miscellaneous. Actor move cancel. Set actor move speed. Speed 3. Okay. Now the question is that only when I'm interacting on platform or adventure scene types you must use engine field update event set to walk velocity and run velocity. Walk velocity. Walk acceleration. It's using precision sub pixel units. The value here will be larger than the value displayed as settings. Okay. That would be an engine field update. But is that only... But is that by pressing a certain button or by just in general? Wait, I'm just gonna try that out. But it would be interesting because if that would be like by pressing the button, then I already found my solution. And if it isn't by pressing the button, then it's a problem I still have to work on. Ow! You are so obnoxiously hot.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, I still don't know why what happened here.
Cool game.
Parallax thing. That's not my game. It's just the example, the sample game in gameboystudio. I'm just trying to find out what I can do. So, okay, this dash active. If I have no idea how to change this. Move to no. Engine field update. It's Y2048. Isn't it? It's gonna be 2048. 2048. Good. Okay, just to make sure things work where I want to. I still don't know why this suddenly fucked up. That doesn't make any sense. How do I do this? It should definitely be act trigger from all I can gather so far. No. Add trigger. Add. How was that engine field update? Oh, I see. If GBA mode is available, if color mode is available. Print using GB printer. Set background palettes. Show mode bubble. On enter, on leave. Attach script to button. Okay, B button. Oh yeah, okay, on good. And then I need to do the acceleration thing, do I? Yeah, of course, delete event. Delete event. Good, on enter. Joypad input. Attach script to button. Let's do B. Yeah. Add event. Engine field update. Velocity dash active. Okay, then let's try that out. If that works, that would be so incredibly cool. Because then I can actually work on my own game. Huh? Okay. I'm so very confused. Dash active. Dash pass through pass. Dash distance. Org acceleration. Let's do that. Huh. Wait, I want to test something out. Test something out. Plugin master. If I would add my play controller, who basically has a similar the button layout I need. A B, good. I'm good. Let's see if that works. Would be fun. It should. Let's hope. Okay. And suddenly I don't hear anything. Okay, that makes sense. Because for some reason, every time I'm trying to turn on to add my that one, it always disconnect certain aspects. Fuck, why was my that was activated? So that doesn't do shit. That is completely useless. That didn't anything. That didn't do anything. I hate that. You know what? Let's just end it here. I hope you had fun. I really need to figure out how to change the controls, and then I can actually make this work, hopefully. Anyways, I hope you had fun. For I did have fun. And I hope to see you in the next stream video. Whenever you